St Peter's Jubilee Ale.
Life is too short to be drinking shitty beer.
Welcome to another edition of Bands, Bikes and Booze Reviews. This is the first British beer I've reviewed in quite a long time. I've been mostly concentrating on the German stuff, as you know, if you've been looking at the channel. And today I was mooching about in Morrison's, getting some grub in, and I happened to notice that they've got some of this for £1.49 a bottle in Morrison's, which is not bad. They also had some Ukrainian beer, which was on sale with all the profits going to the Ukraine. Now, I think most people are on the same page as me when it comes to the Ukraine. I think they've been dealt a very fucking shitty hand. Russia are absolute fucking bastards for what they're doing. And yeah, the whole targeting of civilians and all that. Politics doesn't come into it. If you think that's acceptable, then I think you're a fucking twat, personally. But there you go. But point I'm trying to make is the beer was for sale and the money or the profits were going to go to the Ukraine. However, you had to buy 10 in a box and I didn't have enough on me to get them. I tried to see if I could purchase one of them, but you can't. You've got to purchase them in boxes of 10. But if you see them and you're a bit flush, and I know no one's too flush at the moment, we've all got our own fucking struggles when it comes to money, etc. But if you are a little bit flush, then give that a go. To be honest, I was going to review that beer and I was thinking, even while I was walking around in the supermarket with that in my trolley, I was thinking, I'm not even going to give this a mark. If it's bad beer, that doesn't come into it. It's all about the calls for that. So, again, I just want to hammer that point home. If you do see it, please buy it. Unless, of course, if you're a Russian who agrees with the invasion of the Ukraine. Personally, I think you're fucking wrong, but there you go. Anyway, that's all I'm going to say on the matter. Let's get back to this one. Right, so this is a Jubilee Ale. The Jubilee, of course, coming up next week. It is currently the 19th of May. That's the date. So it'll be not next week, it'll be the week after. And everybody gets a holiday. So even if you're a fucking staunch Republican and you hate the royal family, you're getting a day off. So for one day, just shut up, will ya? I don't care what your views are on the royal family. Personally, I think there's some wrong uns. I think most of them are okay. They bring in a lot of tourism for the country, and if you've ever been down to London and you see the sheer amount of people who are absolutely fascinated by our royal family and the guards thing and everything. We went down there the other week and it was packed, and they had the Gurkhas down there and they were doing their light infantry. So light infantry march very fast, and people couldn't work out why they were marching so quickly, and my missus said to me, "What's the fucking rush?" And I said, they're light infantry. That's how they march, with their rifles down by their sides, and they march a hell of a lot faster. A lot faster. Little aside for you. When I was growing up as a kid, my mum had a friend, Irish friend from County Clare. Mary was her name. Unusual name for an Irish woman. But her husband, Jack, he was from Leytonstone. He was an East Ender. Well, originally East End. He lived at the time in Leytonstone. And he used to come round every Friday because she worked in the factories that were down my road in Tottenham. And he would come round in the evening and we would pick her up. And I always remember talking to him about the war, because he was a soldier. He fought in World War II. and we had some absolutely fascinating conversations. He was in 5 regiments during World War II. He was in three light infantry regiments. So he was in the Somerset Light Infantry, the Durham Light Infantry, and there was another light infantry regiment as well, which he told me, and for the life of me, I cannot... Oh, the Oxford and Buckinghamshire Light Infantry. He was with them. And he got passed around. I don't know why. I think he had some specialist skills that were required, but he was always attached to light infantry regiments, and of course he marched like them as well. And he was saying that he got transferred from the... I think it was the it was the Durham Light Infantry. He got transferred to a Highland regiment, the Seaforth Highlanders. And he said the very first time he went there, and they were all on parade, and they were marching into the town, and him and his mate who got transferred, they fucking shot off like they do, what light infantry do. I don't know what is it 200 paces a minute? I can't remember what the pace is, but it's considerably faster. If you ever watch Sharp's Rifles, they march like that as well because they're light infantry. But him and his mate were so used to marching like that, they shot off and had a sergeant major come running after them, calling them all the names under the sun. Yeah, they're not pleasant names either. But yeah, funny incident. He went through some shit, Jesus Christ. I don't want to go too much into it now, but he fought all from Normandy all the way up to Arnhem and all that. And some of the sights and the sounds that he heard were unbelievable. Some of the stories were just crazy, mad times. I'll probably do that in another video, but for now, let's concentrate on this beer. So, again, I'm going way off topic here, but I'm coming back on topic now because I'm talking about the royal family. Yes, I think they're a credit to the country. Yeah, there's a couple of wrong ones. Prince Andrew is a fucking disgrace, personally. Prince Harry, I think he could have won the hearts of all the nation, and he just turned out to be a dick. Well, I don't think it's him, actually. I think it's his missus, but that's my own personal opinion. You've probably got other opinions. As the old saying goes, opinions are like arseholes. Everyone's got one, but occasionally you don't want to hear it. So there you go. Right, that's that out of the way. This is a golden ale, specially brewed for the Jubilee, and it's a beer which I don't think is going to be around for too long. So if you see it, get it. And as with me, I'm going to keep the bottle because it's a nice bottle. This bottle is based on, well, all their bottles are, based on an old gin bottle from Philadelphia. And it's a very ergonomic bottle. And I quite like their bottles that St. Peter's do. Very nice indeed. And I like what St. Peter's do. They do some fantastic beer. There's a pub in Clerkenwell called the Jerusalem. I've reviewed it on my other St. Peter's Brewery videos. So if you want to get a bit of a lowdown on it, then have a look at them. But it's a great pub. If you're ever in London, and in Clerkenwell in particular, go visit that pub. It's brilliant. It looks like it's been around since the 15th century. But it was made in 1983. It was built in 1983. It used to be an old watchmaker's. Worth checking out. If you're down there, do it. You won't be disappointed. If you like cask beer, you're going to love it. And it gets packed, so it's popular. Anyway, St. Peter's, of course, are from Suffolk. They have been going since 1996. They were founded in farm buildings, historic farm buildings, in a place called Elmham, which is near a place called Bungay, which is in Suffolk. And it's very rural there. And they get the best of the malts around there. That region, Suffolk and Norfolk, it's of the opinion of many brewers that that's where the best malt in the UK comes from. Now, I did read online that the best malt is touted to be grown in a maritime climate, I should say. And of course, in England, you're no more than 70 miles away from the coast. So you could consider the whole of England having a maritime climate. But around Suffolk, you've got the North Sea there, Suffolk and Norfolk, etc. It's got the North Sea, very, very, I mean, there's a lot of cliff erosion there as well. So Suffolk may not be Suffolk for much longer. Well, probably not in my lifetime, I won't see it, but your kids might see it. But it's a lovely part of the world as well. There's some very, very nice parts of Suffolk and Norfolk too. I recommend going to a place called Southwold because you get the Adnams stuff there. There's a lot of Adnams pubs there. Adnams, of course, are a fantastic brewer. Green King are also based there. Avoid them; they're not so great. But St. Peter's are there, so they're the local independent brewer, and they have been since 1996. And they generally do good beer. If you look on my channel, their beers get high marks, and it's good quality stuff. And what I like about them is they tell you what's going into the beer. They tell you what the malt is and they tell you what the hops is, which I love. And not many brewers do that, so take heed. If they can do it, I'm sure you can. With that being said, let's investigate the beer. Right, 500ml bottle, 4%, so it's very sessionable. On the back it says limited edition, expertly crafted in Suffolk, English pale malts coupled with Challenger and Golding hops. Good choice, Challenger and Golding, stalwarts of the English hop selection. It provides bitterness and aroma. Well, that's what hops do, of course. The result is a highly distinctive light golden ale with caramel aromas, a pleasing toffee apple flavour and a late bitterness. Okay, there's the label. Nice silver label. Well, it's supposed to be platinum, I would imagine. I just want to talk quickly about the logo, a raven and a key. The raven is a sign or symbol of the Vikings. They used the raven as a symbol for a lot of things, but mainly with the god Odin or Wotan. If you're a Germanic Saxon, they all worship the same gods. And the ravens were associated with him for gathering the news that had been going on in the world. They used to fly around the world, bring back the news to Wotan or Odin and tell him what had been going on. There was two of them, Hugin and Munin. That was German or Old German for thought and memory. So there you go. Now the key on there is supposedly the keys to the gates of heaven, and of course St. Peter, if you believe in that, is the patron saint. He greets people at the gates of heaven. I don't think he's going to be greeting me, because after all the shit I've done in my life, he'll probably be saying, get your fat ass down there. Don't worry me, all my mates will be there too. Let's get it open, let's see what's going on. Right, this is the first English beer I've reviewed in a while. I'm a little bit apprehensive. Golden ale is not my favourite style of English beer personally, and this is my personal opinion. I think brewers did it to compete with the popularity of lager, because they could see back in the 80s certainly that the population of real ale was diminishing. So I think many brewers, rightly or wrongly, decided to brew a top fermented golden ale to try and combat that. However, the style is very, very hit and miss. I have to say, I've had some absolutely dreadful, and I do mean dreadful, golden ales. St. Peter's, I've had a couple of their golden ales before, and they've been good. So I'm hoping this one isn't going to let me down. There it is in the glass. Sort of dark golden colour on the nose. Yeah, it's very citrusy. There's some bitterness there, which is almost like a tannin, and I do find that in some of these golden ales as well. And I want to. Oh, hang on a minute. Wait a minute. There is some absolutely gorgeous malt coming through on there now. Oh, it smells really good. That's almost Bavarian-esque type malt. It's a lovely sweet, bready biscuit type malt. And as I say, this comes from the region where the best malts are grown. This is actually brewed on an old historic farm dwelling. It smells lovely. Biscuity, citrusy, but there is a bitterness to it that's almost astringent, like it's a tannin or something. And I think golden ales do get this, and if you put too much of it in, it fucking ruins it. So I'm hoping this hasn't been ruined. I have to say, it does look nice. There it is in the glass. Right, let's get it down the hatch. Your good health and Her Majesty. God bless her. Oh, this is lovely. Oh, this is fucking superb. Wow. Oh, this is all about the malt. Oh, it's lovely. That is just an onslaught of bready and biscuity type malt. There is a little bit of bitterness on there, but it's just dominated by the malt, and it's really good malt as well. Oh, it's just perfect. That is fantastic. Lovely mouthfeel. It's almost like it's come off the cask. The mouthfeel is so good. There is a fair bit of carbonation in there, but that doesn't translate to the mouthfeel. It's very smooth. It's got loads and loads of malt character on here. There is a bitterness to it, a citrusy type bitterness, which is unusual from Challenger and Goldings, but it's there. But it's in balance with the malt, in my opinion. Oh, I love it. I absolutely love this. And I was very, very wary about picking this up because, yes, it is a limited edition beer. And I looked at it and it said a golden ale. And I thought, oh God, do I really want to risk a golden ale? But the reason I did is because St. Peter's get golden ale right. I've tried, they do 2 other light beers, I think. But I think they do a farmhouse ale, which is a light golden beer. And they also do a golden ale as well. I think, what was that called? It's on the channel. Memory's fucking shot to pieces as usual. But they were both really good. And that's why I decided to give this a go. Because I thought, if anyone's going to get it right, it's going to be St. Peter's. And they have, in bucket loads. This is fantastic stuff. Now, I've got this at what I would call cellar temperature. It's been in the fridge for an hour. It came off the shelf, not warm, but room temperature in the supermarket. And what I'm getting from it now, to me, that would be like what you'd get off the cask. That sort of temperature, you know, cellar temperature. That's what I've got it at now. Oh, it's lovely. It's so Moorish as well. I think this is going to go down as one of the best English golden ales I've tried. And there are a couple, don't get me wrong. Shepherd Neame do a reasonably good one. And Adnams do a good golden ale as well. Who else? Fuller's, of course, the honeydew organic golden ale. It's one of my favourites. They sell it in Skunk Central around the corner. If I'm in the mood, I'll have one of them. But this stuff is absolutely fantastic. I cannot recommend this enough. And at £1.49, that, my friend, is a fucking bargain in anyone's book. So, what is the verdict on Jubilee Ale from St. Peter's? That is another fucking winner from St. Peter's, and it's fantastic. And the only thing I'm a little bit annoyed about is if they've just brewed this for the Golden Jubilee, because I'll tell you something, that would be my go-to beer for a little bit of a change, if you know what I mean. Now, the malts on this are really big, so if you like your Bavarian beers, I think you're going to be pleasantly surprised. It's got a big, sweet, bready and biscuity malt character on it, which is you get on the palate and you get massively on the finish as well. There is a little hint of bitterness on there, as I mentioned. They call it a late bitterness. I didn't get that. I got the bitterness on the palate, and the finish was just all bread and biscuit malt, and it makes it so Moorish. Now, I imagine most people would drink golden ale straight from the fridge, ice cold. If you do that with this, I think you're going to miss out a lot. I think you need to have this at cellar temperature. So what I would do if I was you, and I did sort of intimate towards that's what I've done as well. I've got this from the supermarket and I put it in the fridge for about an hour. I nipped out of my lunch hour, left it on the side for a bit. An hour before, I've literally just finished work. I put this in the fridge for an hour and it's come out. It's just cool, if you know what I mean. That's where you're going to get all the flavours. That temperature, especially for top fermented beer, most top fermented beers anyway, that's where you're really going to get all the good flavours if they're in there in a beer. And that's why beer is served at cellar temperature. I think it's an accidental thing, because obviously back in the days before refrigeration, the cellar was the coldest place in the pub during the warmer months. So that's why beer was kept down there. But this is really good, I have to say. I mean, this is just bowling me over. And for a golden ale, for me to be this enthusiastic about a golden ale, which personally I think is one of the weaker styles of English beer, I think this is fantastic. It really is. And it's sort of knocked me for six. But do you know what the fucking beautiful thing about this is? It's so fucking cheap. £1.49 in Morrison's for a bottle of that. That is fucking brilliant. And there's other golden ales that they've got in there, more expensive, some are double the price. This will piss all over them. Do yourself a favour, get down to Morrison's or wherever you can find that, where you know that does the St Peter's range of beers. Morrison's do them, the one down there do them. They do the plum porter, which is very nice. I've tried that on the channel, that's a good one. They also do the golden ale there, another one that I've done on the channel. This one, you've got to try it. For me, that is a 10 out of 10. That is a fantastic golden ale. That is going to go down as one of my favourite golden ales, English golden ales. And there's been a couple from St Peter's as well. The farmhouse ale was really nice, and the golden ale. This, I think, and you do find this sometimes with these commemorative beers or the anniversary beers or special beers, if you know what I mean. Especially from English brewers, they have, you know, these novelty type beers where they're commemorating a program, a TV program like the Peaky Blinders stuff. It's generally poor beer, because I think they're relying more on the marketing to sell the beer rather than the quality of the beer. This stuff, though, very, very subdued. It's probably going to put a lot of people off, because I know there's a lot of Republicans who live in the UK who don't like the royal family and would not buy this on principle. That's fine. We live in a democracy. You do what you want to do. I'll buy this and I'll enjoy it. For me, that is a 10 out of 10. That's going to go down as my favourite golden ale. Well, certainly the best one I've tried in a long, long time. And I've tried some shit ones recently. Not impressed with them. But that is a fucking winner. And remember, beer is working class champagne.